Hey folks, Nick here from Another BookTube channel. Today, celebrating Garbaugust with this very trashy parody of Disney characters. This is Michael Mouse by Mitch Lohmeier. This is the definition of kind of a trashy comic. It's perfect for Garbaugust because it's obviously a riff and spin off of some beloved kids characters doing some not so kid friendly things. This is actually my second Garbaugust, and it's the second consecutive year where I'm highlighting a Mickey Mouse like parody comic book. Last year, I looked at Air Pirates Funnies #1, which is a pretty notorious comic book. Go check out that video; it's still up from a year ago. If you ever wanted to see inside that that unlicensed Disney comic that got a cease and desist letter sent to the publisher, where Mickey's doing some very, very skeezy things along with his friends. But in this book, Mickey Mouse isn't in this book because this is Michael Mouse. So honestly, I don't even know why I'm talking about Mickey Mouse. This is Michael Mouse, David Duck, Goonie, and Donna Duck. And these are different characters entirely. So there's nothing to be concerned about. There's no reason to, copyright strike or sue Mitch Lohmeier, the creator. No reason to talk to Floating World Comics, the publisher. These are different characters, so it's nothing to worry about at all. I saw this on the shelf in my local comic shop and immediately caught my eye. I like the book design because it's got that gold spine, like a little golden book, like the kids' books. I flipped open to a single page when I was at the bookstore, and I saw a sequence of panels, and I thought, okay, let me bring this home because this looks really fun. This story began in 2020, where Mitch posted the first couple pages of Michael Mouse on his Instagram, and it got kind of popular. So he just continued it, and it ran for 2 years to October 2022, and now Floating World Comics has gone ahead and published the whole thing. And I had an expectation going into this that, like, okay, this is going to be like Air Pirates Funnies, where it's kind of a comedic book that's showing the Disney characters doing very un-Disney-like things, and that's where you get your humor from. I was very surprised at how dark this comic was. It really, like, there's some laughs to be had just in the situational, like, aspects of it and in the cartooning, but this was more like Requiem for a Dream in terms of mood. I'll go through it. I'm going to go kind of quickly through it. It's kind of long, and I don't want to, I may not even take you all the way through to the end. I might just show you a little bit, in the beginning. But it opens with Michael Mouse giving his old friend, not Donald, what do they call him? David Duck. Gives him a ring, and David hasn't heard from Michael in a long time. And Michael says, you know what? I'm calling you because I got a whole batch of some really good stuff you're going to want to get a hold of. Meet me at Goonies tonight, and we'll get this party started. David has gone kind of straight and narrow. So we get immediately in these first few panels, there's a history here. David was once going down a bad path with Michael, most likely drugs if they're talking about getting the good stuff. But he's gone straight. He's got a family. He's got Donna. He's got the kids. And so he tells Michael initially, I'm clean now. And Michael, I love this pacing. This is really strong, just like good cartooning and good pacing. The silent panel where Michael is just kind of like incredulous, kind of upset look on his eyes and his face, and it pans out further. He says, David, I'll see you tonight. Because he knows, like, he's got a grip on David. David's going to do what he says. So that was like my first big laugh of the book. David makes an excuse with Donna. He's going out. Oh, I got work tonight. Donna doesn't buy it. Donna thinks, like, oh no, he's hiding something. He's up to no good. maybe that Michael is back in town, and this is going to cause a problem. And sure enough, yeah, David goes and meets up with Goonie and Michael. Goonie is shooting up. I love the sound effects. The sound effects are still the cartoony, like multicolored. You got the slap. In this case, slapping his arm in preparation for the needle, because he's shooting up some heroin, and that you have it there again, the vroom sound effect. Poor Pluto is, or they call him Neptune in this. He's being starved by Goonie because he's preparing him for an upcoming fight. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, after a couple pages, I realized, like, oh man, this isn't really going to be riotously funny. This is going to be depressing, like really, really depressing. And sure enough, David falls back into old habits. There's some lines of cocaine out, which he snorts. And Michael's got a plan for them. He's got a whole bunch of drugs they're going to sell. He needs Davy and Goonie for backup. So they're gonna go do that. Just one job. It's gonna pay a lot of money. And Davy, reluctantly, but not too reluctantly, he's in. Meanwhile, we go back to Donna, who is, trying to talk to her kids. The kids miss their dad, but she knows something is wrong. She finds the picture of Davy and Michael, and she burns the half of it with Michael. It's like the arc that Donna goes through in this book is so sad. Everything in this book is so sad. Another great moment of pacing where Michael is talking about how if they get caught, like, he's willing to throw Goonie under the bus, like take the rep for everything. And David calls him out for that. Says, "How can I trust you if I know you're willing to throw Goonie under the bus like that?" And then there's just, like, again, the silent panel calling to get his attention, and Michael just not responding at all. And then when Goonie shows up, he's just like, "Okay, off we go." Well paced. Well, like, this is a really well done comic, despite, all of its subject matter of being super depressing and messed up. And in this sequence, Goonie beats a store clerk to death because he has the audacity to tell him he has to pay for his cigarettes and his magazine. And that's where things fall off the rails. They are committed to having to not just complete this job, but now they're on the run because Goonie has killed multiple people while escaping. This is another heartbreaking sequence with Donna where she's sitting waiting for her neighbor to come by. She's asking her to watch the kids because she has to go find David. She gets in the car, and while she's waiting at a red light, another really strong instance of just, like, letting things play out slowly. We establish the red light, so we know that she's sitting there and not really doing anything. So while she's stopped at the red light, she has the moment to look at the ring, take it in, and then have that moment where she makes the decision, like, this is it. And so she takes the ring off, and as she drives through, again, little red and yellow sound effect, the ring winds up next to the curb. So it's good. It's very good. It's very good pacing. It's just so depressing. They show up at the club where they're going to drop off the drugs. Of course, we get some cameos by other Disney characters who are the strippers, like Cinderella, Snow White, Jasmine. It's just awful. And of course, the handoff goes wrong, and shots get fired. Goonie, unfortunately, trips on the way out, takes a shot. I like this shot here, where a shot is fired, goes through his little hat. Very cartoony moment, and the background kind of changes into just, like, static fuzz. And it happens again when Goonie takes a shot, and this time it's because Michael has put one through Goonie in order to get through. Who's this guy? I forget what his name is. And there's that moment where Goonie, like, realizes, and he starts crying before he dies. And there's an entire page where he just bleeds out and bleeds to death. And Michael and David step over him with a suitcase. It's so horrible. God, I wonder if I should keep going. We've gotten through about 30 pages. This is a 70-page comic, and I kind of want you to discover a lot of it on your own. But you can see more of what it looks like here just as I flip through. I liked this, but I'm gonna be honest, about halfway through, I started feeling like, oh man, this is a real bummer. But if you like stuff like this, if you're a fan of uh, the like Disney parody stuff, which I kind of am. I'm not a Disney fan. I don't like Disney. I don't have like an affinity for the older movies. You know, some of them are pretty good. Um, I don't care for like Disney products nowadays, like what they've done with like Star Wars or Marvel. Like it's not a company for me. So anything that kind of takes aim at them and takes them down a little bit and just like takes the piss out of what they do and who they are, I'm into that. Like Disney parodies, I'm here for. So I like this, even though it was a super bummer. Let me know if you've read this yourself and your thoughts on it. I do hope you give it a shot. It's really cool that something like this exists. Shout out to Floating World Comics for publishing it. Thank you all very much for spending some time with me today. But now it's time to get back to reading.